Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with another plugin review. Today we're checking out Bad Tape, a brand new multi-effect processor from Denise Audio. This is an effects plugin that is meant to lo-fi, vintage-fi. It's meant to make your tracks sound vintage, or like they've been sent through a bad tape recorder, hence the name Bad Tape. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I use this plugin to get this effect on these chords. So let's jump into it. What I'm going to do here is go ahead and delete these two plugins. And I'm going to tell you why I had a gate on there in a minute. So I'm going to jump back in here, Denise, Bad Tape, perfect. And as soon as I drop it on there, you're going to hear a noise. And that has to do with a number of these parameters. So you'll see that hiss and squeal are noise generators, and they're different types of noise. Squeal might be like the tape turning inside of a tape player. Hiss is going to be like circuitry noise. And I don't like that to be on all the time, especially when I'm doing a video tutorial, and that's where the gate comes in. If I drop that on there, it's gone. You can actually see in the gate here in Ableton Live the noise floor level, so I bring that down pretty far, just in case I'm doing something really subtle in whatever track I'm working on, and I still want the noise to be there. This way, just when there is silence, it will cut off that little bit of noise on that noise floor. And we can turn up the release pretty far, and you can hear it kind of trail off there, a little bit less probably. Something like that for the end of your track if you have that noise on. So let's talk about Bad Tape. There are a number of parameters here. We've got wow, shake, hiss, squeal, harm, detune button, input, straightforward, mix, straightforward, output, color, saturation, and speed. So before I jump in and actually show you how I automated that little bit to kind of do a tape stop effect and add some like a whoosh of noises, let's talk about each of these parameters. The detune is a button over here, and this will actually do kind of the tape stop effect, or the slow down the tape in real time. When you press it down, it will slow it down, and when you let your finger go of your mouse button or your controller button, it will speed back up. So let me show you what that sounds like. So you hear how it speeds back up to catch up. Let me turn down these noises. So that's very typical of a tape. Like, that's more realistic than having it just slowly go back to normal or go back to normal over a set range. That's more typical of real life. If you kind of hold down on one tape, it will continue to spin. You almost wind it up, and then when you let it go, it will speed up until it gets back to normal speed in sync with the other tape head. Next up, we've got the wobble and shake. So the wow and shake, and these are going to be detuning the pitch. Wow is going to be a bigger fluctuation, and shake's going to be smaller fluctuations. So let's turn the mix all the way up and turn up the wow and see if we can't hear it. Definitely noticeable. And let me turn down these noises so you can really focus on it. And this is shake. It's going to be quicker. So if you put both of those together, you're going to get some really crazy sounds. I'm not sure how often you're going to need them both at 100%, but it is doable for some really crazy effects. So I like to have these down, fairly moderate to low percentiles, just to add that little bit of extraness, but not have it like stand out, not to be a main feature of the effect. Even that might be too much, and that's probably because the mix is on 100%. So if I roll back on the mix, maybe pull down on these a little bit more, and just have them barely introducing that pitch fluctuation into the chords themselves. That already sounds vintage to me. And as we already kind of talked about here, we've got hiss and squeal. If I pass the gate here, kind of your white noise, kind of your tape head squealing, like if they've kind of rusted or whatever. So a little bit of that, And, a little bit of that is a real nice way to push things into the vintage style. Harm introduces failing tape artifacts with subtle bit crushing. So let's see what this sounds like. Let's turn the mix all the way up again. Turn flutter down, shake down, hiss down. And let's really crank the harm and see what happens. So you can already kind of hear where I got that idea from in the beginning, which I'm going to show you how to do here in a second. Detune we've already covered. Color and speed. Adjust the color and speed of the tape for a unique flavor. So let's turn down the harm and hear what we got. So look at color kind of like an EQ. And then speed affects, like if you turn up hiss here, turn off the gate. So speed affects a number of these different features. So if I turn up the squeal and then play with the speed, these are going to play off of one another. So that's the basic run through of the different parameters here. Now let me show you how I automated that kind of cool lo-fi sort of automation here. So what I'm going to do is come in here and come into detune, which is essentially that tape stop. And I'm going to get my pen tool and I'm going to add it right about here. I'm going to turn it on right there. All right. And the next thing I can do is go back to my my pointer tool and just duplicate that. So each one of those has that kind of tape stop effect. And then the next thing I want to do is come into harm. And I want to ramp that up towards the end here. And if you hold Alt and get a kind of ramp going. And we can do the same thing with squeal, but let's first go ahead and duplicate this. You just highlight it, Control D to duplicate it. Let's go to squeal and introduce some of that squealing. Again, kind of in the same format there. It's just adding, it's adding a cool effect, I think. And of course we can adjust the color if we want to be more subdued or brighter. Speed is also going to affect the pitchiness of the sounds. So let's see what that sounds like in the context of the track. So another cool thing might be to add, a little bit of reverb or delay at the end there to really accentuate the actual glitchy sounds that come in. So let's come in and add that same kind of curve over here with the actual reverb. Let's solo it again. Let's jump into that reverb and actually make it a little bit longer of a tail here. Let's add some delay as well. The idea here is just to have it sounding good. There really is no limit to how much automation you can add to these. You just want to make sure you're going to be duplicating that little bit. Like, for example, I didn't duplicate the reverb part. And in fact, let me add it a little bit quicker like that. Duplicate that. Oh, yeah, for sure. And then we can introduce a little bit of flutter and a little bit of shake. Again, I like to keep these at fairly low amounts. And we do have a really vintage style glitchy effect using the Bad Tape plugin. Oh, so cool. So let's listen to it in the context of the track. Yeah, I definitely liked a little bit rolled back on the color and a little bit reduction with the speed to make it a little bit more subdued and a little bit of a lower pitch. I think it's jiving a little bit better with, that low bass and those drums. But anyway, that's just one of the many, many things you can do with Bad Tape. It's a very versatile multi-effects plugin. It's available now. I'm going to leave a link in the video description if you want to check it out. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.